What's up guys, Nightingale here and welcome back to another video. It is 5:30 in the morning for me and some pretty spicy news has just come across my computer. As the title said, some major news, and that is right here. 10/27 5-star Covenant hero Hwayoung balance adjustment preview. This is monstrous if we don't screw this up. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over this and we're gonna read through this and see what they have to say and give you my thoughts on what's coming along. All right, so hello, this is Epic 7. This is a pre-announcement to the planned balance adjustments of the 5-star Covenant hero Hwayoung, however you say it. I was told by a Korean it was Hwayoung. I've been told it's Hwayoung, but we're just gonna say whatever. Which will take effect after the 10/27 update. So right now we've just had a balance patch that dropped yesterday. They've already announced in the prior balance update that they're going to do one in 4 weeks to get it in before the RTA season starts, and this is probably why. All right, we will release a separate announcement for the other hero candidates that will be a part of the upcoming 10/27 balance adjustments 2 weeks before the update. There you go. That is the date. 2 weeks before that, so it'll be mid-October, so just a few weeks from now. Before we begin, we would like to sincerely apologize for the disruption in the balance adjustments. Will cause errors gameplay. With this in mind, we would like to explain and guide you through the process of how we came to the balance adjustment decision in as much detail as possible. Epic 7's balance adjustment system has been focused on improving heroes rather than dismissing them to retain the value of the hero that our heirs put the time and effort into nurturing them. When a hero has too much influence, our response has always been to make the appropriate changes. Screw it. By buffing other heroes via periodic balance adjustments. However, although we at Epic 7 have tried several different approaches that have become evident, it has become evident that the 5-star Covenant hero Hwayoung, whatever it is, overbearing influence throughout a large portion of the game has been difficult to suppress. Yeah, you made this thing literally the perfect ML5. In particular, due to the 5-star hero Hwayoung's presence, there has been significant decrease in usage of other attack-based heroes. I wonder why in the PvP space. This shift in hero usage in turn has caused many difficulties as we work to provide appropriate balance adjustments and diversify PvP content. While we sought to reduce her impact in the current meta with several indirect approaches, we concluded that it was necessary to resolve the issue directly, which ultimately led to the decision you see before you today. AKA, they did nothing. They wanted to make other heroes absolutely broken, and now they're like, okay, that's still not doing it, so now we've actually got to do it ourselves. Correct. It's time to get your hands dirty, and it's finally time to get your hands dirty, Smilegate. You're on a runaway train, and I'm gonna see if you can superhero this crap and save Epic 7. Once again, and oh my god, they're laying this on thick, with a heavy heart. Bull. We regret to inform you that the 5-star Covenant hero Hwayoung will be going through a balance adjustment. I don't think a single one here is gonna go, oh my god, you're nerfing. And if you are, you're trolling and I have nothing to do with you. The probability and number of turns seen below are based on fully enhanced heroes. Skill cooldowns will not be changed unless stated, and the skill descriptions mentioned in the preview may be updated by the time of the actual update. Okay, so we're going to take a look at each one of these skills and see what they're doing. So Supersonic Kick is her S1. Attacks the enemy with a kick. When the caster is buffed, a successful attack inflicts additional damage proportional to the caster's attack. Okay, what's significant here is they're reducing the combat readiness. So the CR push she has on her S1. Okay, cool. And they're getting rid of the regardless whether the attack hits. So now, in order to get the extra damage, she must land the hit, meaning she's not colorblind anymore, which was one of the major issues. Why is a unit that is a fire unit hitting water units and landing the extra damage, which made it kind of annoying. But nobody really used her skill for this anyway. So while they're trying, I will give them the benefit of the doubt here that they are trying to resolve a part of the issue. I'm glad that they are taking away the color blindness here, so that on a miss, nothing else happens. Cool. Which is how it should have been. Now, on her Prairie Hawk, which is the passive, they're lowering 20% of her attack increase. So she's going to be doing less damage overall. She's going to have less attack in her starting of her kit. Is this going to solve much? 20%? It's a pretty big deal, but let's be real. This basically is going to equate to a vigor buffed unit. Basically, she'll have the same attack she had without a buff if you have vigor up on her. She has attack buff, she'll have slightly more. So, is this going to help some? Sure, but since most Hwayoungs have an attack buff, it's a small drop in the bucket to lose. It won't be as effective, but it'll still be effective. Alright, and per usual, we don't ever care about the non-awakened skill, because again, what unit do you use that is not awakened to the 3rd star at the minimum? Exactly, none. So, Monarch's Flaming Strike, aka the Big Kick. After dispelling all buffs from the caster, attacks the enemy with a secret technique and grants immunity to the caster for 2 turns. When the target's max HP is greater than the caster's max HP, penetration of the target's defense, with penetration rate increasing proportional to the difference up to a maximum of 100%. Now, this is what makes this better. It's not perfect, but this is better. 1, she's no longer just 100% penning your defense regardless, which is good because we don't want to devalue defense, which is something we've been talking about for a while here on the YouTube channel, which is what we've talked about on stream. This has been a very big deal and not something that I thought they were going to really address here. Just in general, like I thought at this point, cat's out of the bag, they're not going to try. Okay, well they are. Well, so here's what's going on is their damage dealt is increased because they're having to do some serious changing on it. So let's not panic on that. But the required max health difference is also increased. Currently, it was around 6,000 to 7,000 max HP. She was wide open and she was getting the extra damage multiplier of the original. Damage dealt increased proportional to the difference. So they're getting rid of that condition. Now her penetration rate is the only difference, which is good. She's supposed to be blowing up tanks, not colorblindly killing everything. Whether it hit or missed, it didn't matter. You could hit a, I can't tell you how many times I saw people go blow up a rim or a shoe with this thing because it didn't matter. It missed and it still did a crap ton of damage because she had more than 6,000 HP difference, and so she 100% pinned the defense. With the proc a tooth, the thing popped like a cherry. So, alright, they're trying. Now let's finish up reading. The purpose of the balance adjustment is to ensure that Hwayoung remains specialized to contesting enemies with high HP while reducing the excessive influence as a damage dealer. Also, because of her fast turn cycling made her difficult to deal with, it's not because of her fast turn cycling, it's because people only had to build attack, speed, and that is it. That's all you had to put into this unit, is attack percent, flat attack, and speed. It wasn't because of her CR pushing, it was just because you literally made her only need 2 stats with some defense if you wanted her to live through another turn or two. That was it. So it's not that it was her fast turn cycling, it's because you only had to put 2 stats into her. I still think this isn't really the direction. There should have been another condition for the pinning of the defense, like Crow, like Yulha, where they have to have something happening to them in order to ramp their damage. But that's just me. We'll see how this goes, but let's continue on. Because of her fast turn, it made her difficult with similar level of other heroes. So they're saying that Supersonic Kick, additional damage, reduced viability on lower health, attack-based heroes, high evasion heroes, and heroes with damage reduction effects. To resolve this issue, we plan to add a hit condition to Supersonic Kick, reduce the damage. To compensate the loss in damage, we will slightly increase the basic skills damage, so that it'll deflect appropriately to the amount of damage when accurately hitting the target. Okay, cool. So as long as it hits, it'll do a little bit more damage than what it would have been without or with the nerf, so that it does actually still kind of do damage and not just completely neutered. Okay, cool. As long as it's on the hit and not a miss, we're good. And then Monarch's Flaming Strike, the penetration rate, it will now be reduced. Penetration will now be calculated proportionally to the difference of the max health. In max health, and the condition to reach the 100% penetration rate will also be increased, while Hwayoung will still be able to inflict a significant amount of damage to heroes with high max HP. Her damage against those who do not have much of a difference in health will be reduced. Okay, to be determined. We'll have to see this because there's still another big glaring issue, which I'll bring up in just a minute. To alleviate the difficult respond to the fast turn cycle, it will reduce the combat readiness. It will remove the combat readiness, which was all right. I mean, that was a small push. But we hope these changes will increase diversity of PvP heroes to be used in various ways and expand the options of team combinations when facing the Covenant hero Hwayoung. And then they go through talking about how they will be recalling her, so there you go. Okay, so here is the other issue that they're not addressing here that I want to point out. So, Smilegate, you are doing the step in the right direction, but there is also the other elephant in this room that we want to talk about. And that is actually that there's one more problem to this. It's not necessarily that it's just her on her damage, okay? There is another aspect here, which is the artifact that's primarily used on her. Uberis's Tooth is another kind of issue for this. It's because, again, you only have to stack into attack and speed on this unit. That Tooth is still doing ungodly amounts of damage to units that shouldn't be taking this type of damage. And the reason this is an issue is because Tooth procs after the hit. So you basically get 2 attacks for the price of 1. So you have her doing an absurd amount of damage initially, and then that damage ticks, then it counts Tooth as a secondary attack, which then hits the unit, and those who cannot be one-shot units just pop. Or you take a unit like Sage Vivian, who has a damage reduction passive. The damage reduction of the Tooth proc doesn't take effect because it's after the actual kick. So if it was going in before all these passives, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. You couldn't be one-shot still because the Tooth proc was on the front end of the damage. Sage Vivian would be taking the damage proc in the initial attack. It's how your math is being calculated here. That's also part of the issue. So that you have Tooth absolutely just detonating units is kind of an issue. So what are we going to see now? Here's what I end up seeing happen. So they're losing some of their attack. They're having to change how they get it. So what you're going to see now is they're going to run this thing at absolute glass cannon, meaning they're going to roll no defense, no HP, straight speed, and they're going to probably try to push even further into attack percent. So now where we're seeing the average around 6,500 to 7,200, you're probably going to start seeing people try to creep up into that 8,000 range, and we'll probably end up with a very similar situation with not much changing. Maybe. We'll have to see, depending on how things go. Or they just start slowing her down, but then also increasing her attack to a point. Now, the good news is they are taking away some of the base attacks she does get. So there will be some tuning and there will be some adjustment times. Will this mean that I'm going to go through and have to work on adjusting mine? not really, because I'm only using her to kick a couple things. I don't go in and colorblind kick everything with Hwayoung. I go into just specific things. But will I need to test it and tune it? Yes, I will need to take another look at mine. But it's not like I'm going, oh my gosh, I need to, the roof's on fire. Now, the last thing I want to say before we wrap up here is, yes, this is exactly what needs to start happening across many, many, many different units. And I'm going to go ahead and already say this. You're going to need to start doing this to some of the units you just buffed. You need to start taking away certain things in these kits that you've been doing over the last few months. Certain things just don't need to be there. Like, let's be real. Strays doesn't need, in his kit, the ability to not be countered. Now, sure, we can easily say that they made it easier for him to hit with his S3. That's fine. Get that penetration rate a lot faster. Not a big deal. But why does he need the ability to not be countered? He's gonna have immortality anyway. Are you afraid of somebody stripping that and killing him? What's the big deal after that? So that's just one example. There are many units in this game that need to be touched and need to have things looked at in their kits that go, yeah, this kind of needs to be looked at. This is a step in the right direction. We as a community need to applaud them for finally taking the step, finally getting their balls out of their wife's purse to do this. Seriously, it's about time. I've been waiting to see a Nerf patch, and finally we are getting one. Now, keep this up, keep going, don't give them back to your wife, keep control of them, and keep doing this. We don't need selector tickets. We don't need any of this crap. Keep this up. We want to see the game in a good, healthy place. And in order to do that, some people's little favorite units are going to need to get neutered by some point or another, which is fine. Because if it gets balanced right, it still does its job. It's just not OP for everything. This has been running rampant for many, many, many months now. And it's time to fix it. And I'm glad that they're finally taking a stand and going to start doing this. Do not let Hwayoung be the last and only unit you decide to finally nerf. We don't even need the recall. You should just let it be what it be, because she's still going to absolutely detonate high HP units. There's nothing wrong with that. She's supposed to be a tank buster, not a cleave unit for everything. It shouldn't have 8,000 health and she still detonated. It shouldn't have... Well, okay, 8,000 health is a bit of a stretch, because anything could probably die to 8,000 health. But my point being is, if it's built right, it shouldn't be dying with very minimal, with low HP like it has been. But that's also going to be part of the tooth proc issue. So we'll see. Keep up the work. Keep looking towards the right direction here, which is finally getting control of this runaway train you let loose. It's not impossible to stop this thing before a catastrophic end of your game dying because you can't take control of your balance team and get the right things set up. Now, this is not going to get into a whole big argument of, well, this unit's broken and that unit's broken. What we're just trying to say here is keep going into the direction of balancing units and actually start nerfing stuff. You should equally be nerfing as much as you're buffing every single balance patch. If you can do this, and you can even get it into a shorter cycle, that would be even better for your game. So instead of doing, you could even alternate them. So you have a balance patch every 4 weeks. One is a nerf, one is a buff. You could do it that way. I'm okay with seeing balance patches roll through in minor tweaks every 2 weeks if it's fixing stuff. Because there are a bunch of heroes and you may not want to do a bunch at one time. Do 2 weeks, see how it goes. Does the world blow up because of this change? There's nothing wrong with that. Thank you, Smilegate, for finally doing this. Finally taking a stand and finally nerfing a unit after how many years? What was it? Arby was the last unit you actually came out and said we're nerfing? Thank you. It's time. Now, could keep this up, and I would like to see what your next steps are in this direction. This could be the first step and a great step to a much healthier PvP scene in this game. So for what's left now to the viewers that are watching here, what does this mean to you? This just means that if they continue this step, you're going to start seeing a healthier PvP scene. But the one thing they've got to grasp, and very quickly, because there's still a lot of big issues here, is they need to remember not to forget that there are direct playstyles that are designed to counter those other playstyles, but they are gimping them every step of the way. They definitely show very high bias to a specific playstyle, and that is a little bit of a part of the issue here, is they punish one playstyle but grant favoritism to another. But this will take a step in the right direction because we need balance overall, and as that develops, maybe some other changes will happen. Maybe they'll see, oh, we do have some issues here. So, don't panic with some recalls coming through. Don't panic when you see some nerfs coming through. It's part of a healthy system. Let this be the step in the right direction. So thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments below or come hang out with me live on stream. Y'all take care, and we'll see you in the next one.